Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. It's me, Kaylee, and we have,
Me, Mirka.
as you can tell, we're not Shaan, but we are taking it over because we're going to talk about something different today, or something that Shaan can't really talk about, and that is,
I mean, he could, but I don't know how much he knows about it.
yeah, and that's about the experiences that girls go through, or females, when going through anxiety. So when it comes to your period and time of the month, and the changes that happen. It's a question that we get all the time in the mentorship. So we want to make a video about it.
Yeah, ladies are asking about that a lot, and they're like, always the question is around, is it possible that, as I'm going through my monthly cycle, that my symptoms can get higher or my anxiety gets higher for no reason? I have no external stressors, I have no real problems, I'm responding properly, I'm responding the same way. So why I feel shittier around that time of the month or at different times of month? But we always say, at least I do, I'm like, if you're not sensitized, if you don't have anxiety, you still don't feel the same as a female. Yes, it's unfair compared to guys, but that's the reality of being a female, right? You don't feel the same every week of the month.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I know there's a lot of different, diagnoses around, hormones for women and our periods, but we just want to talk about today, what was our experience when it came to time of the month and our anxiety. Let you know that it's normal and how things have changed, and also about why it happens, right? And I think that really helps with understanding it. So the first thing is, for me at least, I remember when I was in the cycle, every time of the month for me, I felt like I was going through a setback. And how we define setbacks is, it literally feels like you're back at square one with your symptoms. Like you've made some progress, you've come a long way with your response, and your symptoms feel a lot better. And then, whoa, one day you wake up and you're back at square one. And I kid you not, every single time of the month, as soon as my symptoms started acting up, they would get worse. My mood, my feelings, my energy, everything. I knew what was happening. And I recognized that it was a part of the anxiety. So very quickly I was able to put under the anxiety umbrella once I learned how to respond. And I just expected that. It was an expectation that I had, right? Knowing that, as I'll explain in a moment, how anxiety impacts our periods.
Yeah, and I think also that for me, the interesting thing was, for example, one of my symptoms with anxiety, one of the symptoms that I had for months, until the end, was whenever anxiety was a little higher, I felt like I'm about to get sick. Not I'm sick, I have a flu, no, but I'm about to. It's like the coming down with something. And I felt like I have my temperature. It wasn't high fever feeling, but I felt like my temperature is not right. But it was okay. But before my period, couple days before, I really felt like I have a fever. My nose felt stuffy, my throat felt scratchy, but I wasn't sick.
Right.
And I didn't have fever. So my normal symptom that I had, feeling like I'm coming down with a flu or something like that, around my period, it got 100 times worse. And I really felt like I am sick. This is done. I caught a flu. I got COVID, whatever it may be. And I was like, I'm going to spend the next week in bed. But it was just before. It took me a little time to that's what it is. But fun fact is, I'm desensitized. I'm fine. But I noticed that couple days before my period comes on, I feel a little sickish, a little flu coming in. It's not that terrible, but I feel it. So I realized, anxiety is very often amplifier.
100%.
It's not creating something that's not there. It's amplifying something that is already there. But when you're not sensitized, it's there to an extent where you barely notice it. Or it's just something that you kind of pause for a second when you realize it's happening, but then you're like, yeah, I'm about to, my period is about to come. So that's probably why. And you move on. But when you are sensitized and you're very inwardly focused, you are aware of every single thing that changes, even slightly.
100%.
And that's why I think, our period, our hormonal cycle has a big influence on our anxiety, because it amplifies, and also we're very focused on it.
Exactly. And just to go into the mechanics of it, like Mirka said, right? I always tell people, think about, before you were sensitized, before you fell into the anxiety cycle, what were your periods like, right? And as most women would say, we experience discomfort. Some worse than others, but we experience discomfort. And it is known that stress and anxiety, right, impact our periods, right? We know that, for example, like when we're really stressed out, your period might change dates, right?
It can disappear,
right?
or it can stay for 2 weeks.
Exactly. So, you know, as women, our bodies go through so many different hormonal changes as a part of the menstrual cycle. And when we're sensitized, our body is very sensitive, right? So you'll notice that with anxiety, that things that would normally not set you off is going to amplify your symptoms. So not getting enough sleep the night before, next day you feel crappy as anyone would, but you feel like 10 times worse.
Yeah,
right?
And even doctors confirm that, because like every time, any woman goes to their like doctor and they say, hey, I didn't get my period. First question is, could you be pregnant? And once the lady says no, second question is, are you going through stress right now?
Yeah, exactly, right?
So even doctors are confirming how much stress and anxiety affects our bodies.
And our hormones. And
our hormones,
that's as women, we go through that extra piece, right? So it's very, very normal for women that when you are going through your period and the time of the month, which is a change in your hormones, right, different stages of it, we are going to be experiencing different symptoms or amplified symptoms that it's going to be very uncomfortable. Like I said, for me, I anticipated every single month I was going to have a setback. But, with all of that though, just as with my anxiety in general, as I recovered and as I got better, the extent to which my anxiety impacted my period also got better. Where today, like Marika said earlier, my periods affect me the same way they did prior to the anxiety. Where we get symptoms, the part of being a woman, unfortunately, but they're not amplifying my symptoms anymore because I'm not sensitized anymore.
Yeah. And I think, like, the thing is, we could do so many topics that are, like, different. But I feel like sometimes it's an issue when people make symptoms so different. Because there are many things, like for women, it could be periods. For guys, it could be different things. It's just, you are sensitized. I think that's the bottom line. You are sensitized. And if you kind of pause and you focus a lot and you try to explain away in detail every little symptom and every little change, it's still too much focus on anxiety. So what I learned when I was struggling, I just chucked everything on, hey, I'm sensitized. It doesn't really matter why exactly or what is the exact scientific, stuff that's happening in my body. It doesn't matter. I'm sensitized, but I know that the less I focus on it, the less I feed it.
Yeah, exactly. One advice that I did when I was going through it was I told myself, whenever my thought went to, oh my gosh, your period is making it worse. What if you have some sort of hormonal imbalance? Or what if you have this illness or that illness? Or what if something's wrong with you? I'd always tell myself that right now I'm sensitized. I know that this amplifies my symptoms. When I recover and something still persists, I will handle it then. And that was always my way to deal with my intrusive thoughts around my health and around what I was experiencing. And, lo and behold, like, I gave my body a chance to heal. I stopped trying to manipulate it and search for answers and change it. I said, you know what? I'm sensitized. I'm going to accept that. I'm going to recognize that, okay, my body's going to act weird in this part of my life. And when I got better,
there was nothing left, right?
Nothing was left.
Yes,
right?
Because I had the same approach. I'm like, okay, right now you're sensitized. Just work on that. And then whatever is left, you deal with that. And there was nothing left. And of course my brain came up with, yeah, but, what if something important is? I'm like, hey, if I was on the verge of dying right now, the doctors would know.
Exactly.
I've been to so many doctors. So yeah, can there be something like underlying, like a hormonal imbalance, or like if you're a certain age, maybe before like menopause, stuff like that? Could there be? Yes, there could, but it's nothing life-threatening because every anxiety sufferer got checked so many times. So it's like, hey, if you would be dying, you would know, and you're not. So your safest bet and your best way is to give your nervous system time and chance to desensitize, and then you will see. And then whatever is left, you can address it later.
Exactly. Right? And, for most of you that are watching this video and who have anxiety, right, I'm sure you've been to the doctor a million times already, right? And it doesn't hurt to get that that reassurance or that check from your doctor, of course. But, past that, what do you do to address the thoughts around it? And just know that, everyone we work with in the program, I think every single female that we have has asked this question.
Every single, yes. And if they didn't ask, they were thinking it.
And someone else asked it and they got the answer somewhere else. And I remember experiencing it too, so did Mirka. And
Absolutely.
it goes back to normal after. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's the woman stuff.
Awesome, everyone. So like we mentioned, if you want to work with us and work in the mentorship, you can book a call down below to see if you're a good fit. The link is just below, so check it out, and hopefully we'll see you there. Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.